Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to King's Gambit Session 3. We don't have as much time today, so I'll speed through the introduction, but yes, we're going to have a new player joining us here, and you'll be introduced to him throughout the gameplay. Now, particularly with respect to where we left off, today is the 12th day, the day of taking, where the Church of the Cult of Cassador had been mostly arrested and more or less exterminated thanks to the advice and information passed on by Waheed and Levy. And now the king is in the midst of preparing a festival, as it were, a honorary feast in honor of Waheed for saving his life. And we will begin with Ludi approaching Princess Levy and Knight Waheed. It is just shortly after the events that had transpired at court. Things had been tense air around the palace and whatnot, but now Ludi has returned from running a few errands and returns to Levy now. It's getting probably a afternoon, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, if that. And she'll approach Levy like, "My lady?"
Oh, hello, Ludi.
I look a little, I kind of been a little distracted since, everything happened, but I'm trying to, stay on my toes still, but a lot's been on my mind since then, so, but I definitely look to her and see.
I know things are not as well as they could be, but I do come bearing good tidings.
Oh, that's good. What is it?
The new sunflower garden has been planted at your request, Princess Levy, and I thought you might be interested to come see it.
Oh, of course. I'd be happy to.
I'll try to go with her. Okay.
I shall escort you out to the royal gardens where you'll see all manner of different plants, and you'll notice an unfamiliar face lurking around near the sunflowers in particular. And with that, we will pass it over to Jono, who can introduce his character to the Saga now, as he is standing next to the sunflowers here.
So as you enter into these royal gardens of the court of King Eva of Firstport, you see amongst the other noble courtiers, lords and ladies that walk through the gardens in the morning as the sun is now starting to rise, Ahura Mazda high in the sky. You walk through the various winding pathways through orchids and lilies and trees and such, until you do see a man standing there, slim of stature, about 5'7". He's turned away at the moment, and he is gazing into a brand new addition to the gardens, a large patch of beautiful, exquisite sunflowers. And then you see this man of golden hair and blue clothing, or at least a blue robe from your vantage point. You see him then suddenly, as if he just noticed something shocked him, and he bent forward and, reaching into a large cluster of these sunflowers, he raises one out of the middle, and it is a particular sunflower, very rare, very valuable, and it is far more almost bronze-like burnished in its golden complexion. And he brings it out and lifts it and rearranges other sunflowers away from it, giving this one a prime position in the sunlight here. And of course, it is a Disazia's Kiss sunflower. He then steps back, and as you approach, or do you approach? I'll go into further descriptions later.
All right, we had a bit of technical difficulties befall us. We've lost Levy, so
Okay,
what-
I was continuing.
go ahead.
So reaching down, as we see him reaching down to these sunflowers. Oh, there we go. Reaching down to these sunflowers, he takes out a small, what looks to be a gardener's shears, and he begins to make various clippings around this one great stalk of this the majestic sunflower of Dazazia's kiss variety, and begins to prune it slightly, just on the edges here or there, rearranging some things. He's dressed in fine clothing, of equal stature and finery as the other nobles and lords which walk through the gardens here. But unlike the other nobles and lords here, his nature, his heritage is made plainly obvious by the long, elongated, pointed ears which extend out from the side of his head. He then turns and sees the newcomer approach with a bright, bright smile.
Coming and seeing you, I'll kind of look at Ludi like when I first spotted him.
Do you know who this is?
Kind of lowered voice and
I'm afraid not, mistress. I have never met this man before. He must be one of the, possibly an emissary. He looks to be Frayne, perhaps an emissary from Rhodeland, sent to help with the pirates, perhaps.
Oh, right.
approach you, and
As you approach, I turn and, without saying a word, I step back away from the sunflowers as if I was slightly blocking it from your view. I then reveal the work which I had done. I have a bright smile on my face as I give you a courteous bow in the human fashion. You see, just to give you further description. So you see a Frayne. He is pale of skin, but there is a slight golden hue to his skin. His hair is short kept, cropped, but just down, just past the ears. His eyes, however, are crystal cyan color, and he has a bright smile, handsome features, about 2 grades of attractive for mechanics, and a light dusting of freckles on his face. He's wearing like a green sort of tunic, and inside in this tunic is a wealth of embroideries of gold-like, flowery, vine-like patterns, and around him is quite a fine, though a little bit sun-bleached, blue, which was once a deep blue, now is slightly lighter, a cloak, which wraps around him, made of some sort of linen. He is finely dressed, and he bows to you and says, "My lady." He speaks to you in fluent Pelganese. "Good morning."
Good morning to you as well. It's nice to meet you.
It is nice to meet you. My name is Alyosha, fair lady of the court, and may I know your name? I smile.
My name is
I seem a little caught off guard by this.
my name is Levy. Levy Eva.
I look up at that, and then I seem to notice something about you. I then smile. It is a an absolute pleasure to meet you on this fine, beautiful morning. Have you seen this here? Your gardeners are very, very skilled in finding this. And I gesture towards the large sunflower stalk, which is rising mightily now above the others. And I
This is
point
my
towards the Dazazia's kiss.
this is my first time here, but I know the supplier. I suppose the word would be of this, and
You do?
yes, I made an arrangement to get these things set up. I felt that it would be befitting of our on seeing how we're going to be on good terms or better terms. I had planned with Rain. Is that why you're here? Or are you an emissary?
Yes. I am. I've come here on business to see the King Eva, perhaps at a moment after the feast for the grand the celebrations I've heard for the night. So Waheed, is Waheed with you, by the way, or is he?
Oh yeah, well he's always with the princess.
Yeah.
I probably assume you're just lurking somewhere in the background. I haven't seen you yet.
Yeah,
Like
he's
this huge
just
shadow.
he's just behind the princess. He hasn't said anything. He's just being all stoic.
All right. So as I notice you, I for a second trail off what I'm saying as I take in the giant that is you and your prestigious features, let's say, exotic features, let's say. Coming back, yes, the king is holding a feast, I've heard, for a night of great service, and so I've come here and I'm awaiting an audience for the king, so that I may bestow upon him a message that I am carrying from my people. But these are, and as a gesture back towards the sunflowers. But truly, if your gardener is someone quite skilled, this is extremely rare, my lady. I'm not sure if you know, but in the place of my people's origin, these sunflowers are about perhaps 1 in 1,000, or even 1 in 10,000, they appear. There are no seeds that these are born with. These seem to be some sort of, well, legend has it, they are some sort of gift given to those who are most pious to Dazazia in our land, and it is a sign of good omen amongst my people.
I'm very glad to hear that. I had heard that they're very relevant to your people and the faith of Dazazea. I'm very fortunate to have met someone who could have supplied them here. And I hope this stands testament to our faith and friendship that we'll share.
And I smile brightly at that as the sun begins to rise higher into the sky, as this praying that stands before you is extremely joyous, extremely friendly, extremely happy, and he almost even begins to glow. He begins to glow even as you say that, as begins to radiate the sun a little bit from his features, his skin becoming a little bit more golden in hue as he smiles. Well, that is precisely what I had hoped to hear when I'd come here, and I am so pleased that the legendary sayings, or the legendary legends of Eva and his household are in fact true. That this new fledgling kingdom that has risen up with these new peoples, and I gesture towards both you and Ludi,
As you speak of the
we make-
legends of my family, I kind of can't help but to kind of my eyes kind of dart away and look. I look away from you for a moment as if something's bothering me, but then I try to look back at you and as if I'm trying to hide the fact that I'm a little bothered.
As you look away and then look back, you see that I've turned and I've picked up something, and I turn and gently approach you with a hand outstretched. My lady, if I may, give you this.
Oh, of course.
If I may. And as I look up towards the Waheed, who is standing like a giant with his piercing eyes.
He just nods, but he has that piercing gaze, always watching you.
Yeah. So as I step 2 steps forward, I place something. I make a gesture to place something in your hand, and if you do, I place a few what looks like elongated sort of seeds, which have been split open, and they are almost like basically like a burnished fiery bronze with some red and it's sort of like a chromatic sort of coloration inside. They look like sunflower seeds, but unlike any you've ever seen before. This I've just picked from your Dazazia's Kiss flower there. Levy, is it? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
I nod.
Yes, that's right. You speak the language very well, and it's surprising. It's a good surprise.
I smile, and I gesture down and look down at these 2 seeds that I've placed in your hand. Perhaps one thing I would recommend for your gardener is to be sure to prune and take various seeds from this stalk every chain. This is the first time that this flower has had one done. It is important to allow the flower to maintain its growth, and in addition, it is also a reason why this flower is so special. It's because it gives you a gift every chain or so. The seed here, these sunflower seeds, are said to be blessed with a sacred oil. If you were to put this in let's say a herbal remedy or a tea, it shall calm the nerves, and it said you should be filled with the guidance and the protection of the Erelve, or the Eril. I believe they are called the angels that serve the Zazia, but at the very least, these will grant you some great deal of peace. And I gently then, with warm hands, but the hands as well, as you see, my hands are touching your hands. Like you see, the hands are slightly, ever so slightly soiled, as if I've been rummaging around in the gardens a bit here, touching the dirt and just doing something. So they're not dirty, but they're not exactly super clean, especially compared to your manicured hands. And as I then close the seeds around your hand, I then stop and look up into your eyes.
And I want to make a note as when you're touching my hand, you notice that my hands, like, well, while I'm assuming that you have dealt with delicate hands before, being a emissary that you are, but you notice that my hands feel particularly delicate. Like there's definitely something abnormal about them.
Yeah, and conversely, you notice that my hands as well are actually quite the opposite. They're actually quite rough. There's actually quite some scars and calluses underneath them, which is of a note. So perhaps slightly rougher than what you initially expected. But that's just a quick sort of interesting sort of thing. And as I look up into your eyes, and I smile brightly. I'm so glad to have met you. It is truly a gift, from Zansaro to see such care from another to another, regardless of their species. And I smile.
I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of each other. If everything goes well. I will say though.
I nod.
I kind of look around a bit, as if to see who may be listening but I look back to you.
Between us, my father has been in, I suppose you could say, an ill mood of late.
Oh, I see. I'm so sorry.
He can be very rough around the edges at times, more than is normal for him. So when you're conversing with him, please take extra care. He's a little bit difficult right now.
I seem to stare off for a second, then I remake eye contact, and I look at you and say, "My lady, thank your thought." Oh, I step back and kind of let go of your hands, like, "Your Grace, I did not know you were a royal." I step back and I give a bit of a curtsy bow. "My apologies. I have been far too disrespectful of your station. 1,000 apologies. How may I atone?"
It's fine. I have
I kind of look at you, kind of rub the back of my head a little, like,
you seemed to act appropriately. You didn't bother me in any way.
I may have misspoke your titles, your Grace, but I will correct that, and I will make amends. I thank you for your charity in this. But as I grow kind of serious and sort of like, oh crap, I really messed up here. I then step back and I then look up and I give you a bright smile, and I nod towards your handmaiden and Waheed standing there majestically in the background.
And you'll all notice a young human boy will come in into the garden. He's very well dressed, and obviously of like some type of a noble standing. And he's
like younger.
Yeah,
He's younger than me.
Yes, he's like 10 or 9 or 10.
Oh my.
And he has a letter in his hand, and he's looking about, and then he spots one of you. He like looks into your general direction and starts approaching the group.
I'll wait on him to approach, assuming that it's something important.
And as he approaches,
as he sort of approaches, my eyes sort of dart towards this Waheed, taking an opportunity to inspect him and to see, take in this alien sort of creature that's standing there. It's taking me quite some meditation not to just flat out just make a scene of it. But Waheed, you do notice I'm just staring up at you, glancing, constantly sort of glancing at you from the side of my eyes, trying to figure out what you are. But I'm being kind about it. And if you look at me, and if you notice that I'm looking at you, I smile.
I noticed. I'm like, what
tilt
the
my
fuck
head.
is that guy doing? Is it like raping me with his eyes or something?
Yeah. So as you sort of catch me, I just cock my head to the side and I give you a bright smile. I look as if I want to say something, but I don't. As the boy approaches, and I make space for him on the pathway for the boy to approach and do his thing.
he has the trademark white hair and blue eyes of the Eva family. Levy, you're not quite sure whom he is, but your family is quite large, though, so it's not uncommon for you to see a family member, cousin, nephew, uncle, or not uncle, but cousin, nephew, aunt, such that you don't recognize. So he will approach and bow deeply to all of you, then approach Waheed and extend the letter to him. Sir Drake, I have a letter for you from your father.
My eyes widen, and I take the note, the letter, and then thank you.
He bows to you deeply.
I give a little bow to him, a little nod, little half bow.
And then he will just, after he bows to the group again, he will depart without further words if no one stops him.
I bow towards the young noble.
Also,
smile.
a small courtesy to him as well, but I don't say anything.
And also, Waheed, you will see that this is sealed with the Drake family seal as well.
Oh, so it's not the seal of Zacchaeus, but the seal of the family.
Yeah, it's like the family. This is family matters, not religious matters.
All right. Well, I will just pocket it for now.
Apologies, I do not wish to pry, but and forgive me if I am outstepping my bounds. Is it not a Waheed Drake to be that this feast today is being held for? Perhaps a cousin?
Oh, no, it is Waheed. It's his honorary feast.
Oh, and as you gesture towards the giant standing behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, this is. I just stop and just gawk now. Now, no, not even pretending to be like like eyeing you from the corner of my eyes. Now I'm just like obviously just looking you up and down.
Do you have a problem with my appearance?
Oh no! Oh, I deep. No, absolutely not. I'm in awe. Sorry. And I lower my head. You must get that a lot. I apologize.
There's no need to apologize. I am used to it.
I do not wish to burden you any further, but just that I can see why perhaps one of your stature and one of your heritage, your birthright, would be indeed a great warrior and to be honored. And for that, it is not the time of the feast yet, but may I, just before now that I have a word, congratulate you on your dutiful service and for receiving this honor. I'm sure it is truly well deserved. I've heard many talk amongst the other nobles and courtiers here. It is this castle is abuzz. I smile.
The king is entitled to do as he wishes, but I was only doing my duty. This feast is unnecessary. Although I am grateful, it is, he just shakes his head and just goes quiet.
I smile and then say, so humble. Right. Alan, I've got,
Yes.
I'll let maybe you decide. I've got 4 grades in theology, with some fortes. Would I be able to slowly piece together this guy is a knight of Zacchaeus?
Oh, I got my pendant dangling. I got my pendant.
Yeah, because of how he's definitely not. He's doing the opposite of hiding. He's flaunting that he's a knight of Zacchaeus, combined with his heritage, combined with being a Drake, all these things combined together. I'll say, yeah, you've been able to piece that together by now.
Yeah. Yeah, and as I say that, and I indeed, as humble as they say, I smile.
If
I
I
look
may,
back towards Lady. Yes, my lady.
not to sound rude, but I couldn't help but notice that you are a man, a male. And normally in your society, it's the women who are the ones to do all the work, as it were.
Oh, I laugh and ever so slightly blush about that. Yes, yes, I suppose it would be a little bit unusual, at least compared to other customs that my people my people practice. And I kind of look down. Yes, I can say that I've been blessed, truly, that despite my appearances, that I've managed to become of service to my people, my country in this way. Yes, I suppose it would be quite strange, quite odd, and sometimes I think that myself, if I'm being honest. But it seems that that they have chosen me, and I am eternally grateful for the opportunity. Stare off a bit. It's yeah.
Well, I think I'll have a look around now, and I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time.
Not at all, Your Grace, and my lady. Thank you so much for gracing me with your presence this morning. I do not wish to keep you from your affairs. I'm sure you have many important things to attend to, and I will not keep your Sir Knight waiting either.
Kind of gently rub my
and I
cheek as
wish
you do
to
that.
Well, actually, I'm not doing anything pressing, I don't think. So if while you're waiting, you can talk more if you had something to say.
As I say that, I kind of I begin to walk towards to get a closer look at the flowers.
Ludi will go to your side. It's like, my lady, I believe you're correct. Today is rather lax. Yes, your father had seen fit to relieve any duties that you might have had today until later to prepare for the feast. So you are free to do as you wish until this evening.
My Grace, I'll be, if I understand it correctly, if you would be, if you are indeed offering to perhaps show me around, I'm sorry, I kind of whisper and lean in a little bit closer. I've gotten lost quite a number of times. I can't make my way around this place. Unfortunately, I never had such great sense of direction. If you could, I would be honored to accompany you. Should you wish my company and
Oh, of course, you're kind to give me these seeds. So
yes, they are.
so yes, it would be my pleasure to show you around.
Of course, but I cannot take credit for giving you them. There's your gardeners that planted them, and they are in fact yours. But I thought perhaps you might appreciate the qualities that this offers. This
You
is,
said you wanted
and
to meet with my father, but
oh,
who's
when he
innocent?
summoned me, of course.
I don't want to take you around too much as to get you in trouble for not being at the ready. That's my only concern.
Oh,
How they know where to find you?
that is true. I'm not sure. Perhaps if we do not stray far, I'm sure we could hear the trumpets. Is that a custom that I believe would be done when there are events or when the time changes to a certain hour or watch?
Well, what is the custom here for them to do such things? Flame tinder.
Yes, he is correct. They will sound such things for the feast, particularly, and whenever there is a time change, there's a rather large bell that they ring for the different hours of the day as well.
Well, if we don't stray too far, we should be able to hear something, bells or some sort of noise. So, yeah, allow me to walk you around then. Is there anywhere particular you wanted to see? Anything you may have heard of or be interested in?
Your Grace, my thanks. Well, perhaps if it doesn't bother you, Your Grace, I would love to see the sea wall. I believe on the west bank, and I point towards the east incorrectly. Yes.
The other way. But yes, it's fine. Just follow
My
me.
apologies. Yes, I've heard quite as you're walking out, I sort of follow up behind you. I've heard quite a number of things about it. It was built by your father, by craftsmen imported from the great city of trade, I believe, even. And I just like talking about some random academic sort of historical information. I give you some history about your own city, about your own castle, kind of like pompously, but without realizing it. Just
I kind of
did you know that the place you live in has been built by these people?
I'm listening in on this with my my 5 grades in academics.
Yeah.
So
I'm telling you
hear
things
saying-
which are probably incorrect as well, which are just like rumors. Yes, and I heard that the craftsman indeed buried himself and his family in order to keep the wall strong. This is like a complete falsehood.
No, I'm sorry, but you've heard wrong about that. The main
That's
craftsman is actually still lives.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Astero.
Ah.
He's the skilled architect. He was the one largely credited with the city's design, and he's actually part of one of the leading members over the financial situation, I suppose you could say, of the city.
Oh, I kind of like start to get slightly redder, as if like I'm a bit embarrassed by that. Yeah, I get a little bit embarrassed by that. Like, oh well, I shall be sure if I'm able to spend some more time here, I would most certainly love to see your archives and mend my ignorance in this. Your Grace, I apologize.
As you approach the seawall, you will see Levy and Waheed, this architect that was just being spoken of to. He appears as a satyr in fine garb, standing at the edge of the seawall. He is in the midst of actually inspecting it at the moment as you approach to gaze upon his glory.
I'll look at the fortune.
I look back at you.
Ali Osha, was it?
That's right.
Here he is now. The satyr I was speaking of.
Oh, there he is. Yes, I am indeed most mistaken. If I don't know how I heard such a thing. If the craftsman walks around plain as day, and if you even speak his name, he appears. And how could a rumor have, or information, I suppose, or a tome have written that he had died and buried himself and his family inside the foundations of the castle itself. I mean,
I'm walking forward, I'm glancing back at you with a smile, and then I'll turn and I'll approach Astro.
To you. Alright, he is walking up alongside the shore, looking at the seawall from a distance at the moment, just peering out at it and getting like a backed up view of it to see if there's any glaring issues before he makes his routes onto the wall proper, as he's like walking along towards the direction of the wall. And you
I'll sort of like wave, and
Astro.
he glances back.
I'll wave, give him a wave and a smile, and I'll approach him.
Princess Levy.
We were just speaking about you. It's good to see you here.
Good things, I hope.
Of course. Our our
I
friend here,
blushed. Like,
our friend here is new to the place, obviously, and I was just clearing up some uh, unsettling rumors he heard about you.
I start getting very embarrassed.
Um,
Yes. Master Asuro, I am. My name is Alyosha. I have come here for a business for the court of King Eva, and it is a pleasure to meet you. I've heard many a tale from my land far away of your exploits here and the skill that you and your workers employ, of course yourself, employ here for the construction and maintenance of this castle. And I was just marveling at it, and I've heard I've read unfortunate things, and I'm glad they're not true.
does not surprise me. Your people tend to dislike my preferred architecture. I tend to like building with wood. That's my favorite. Stone is something I do not prefer, but I must build with to maintain the castle's defenses. But with wood, that is my true passion.
I understand. Still, stone does have a lasting legacy, and there's something pure about its craft and its longevity. I met many a Ferrum, and they indeed have some sort of special connection to the stone. Do you employ Ferrum in your task force here, by any chance?
Not many. There are a few
Yes,
Farum this far away from their homeland, as it were.
Yes, I've heard as well. I've heard as well what has occurred there. That is it is quite choosing my words very carefully here. It is quite a momentous shift. It is quite interesting from a point of view.
Quite the stark contrast, if you ask me. And he'll keep walking along the shoreline. King Eva takes control. The first port turns into a thriving city where there was but a small trading post without a single drop of blood. Bell, the city's run red with blood. Stark contrast indeed.
I've heard many great things about the Sea King. The legend that he sung to the sea, and the sirens came out and they came together, met each other on the beach, and had a great festival, a peaceful festival under the storms of Fatash many, many cycles ago. It is written in our tomes as well.
I was but a young boy when it happened myself.
Were you there? I gotta look up.
Yes, I had lived the city my entire life. I was an adolescent at the time.
Truly. Is it true what they say? Did he really scream thunder that night?
He did many things, and some of them more miraculous than screaming thunder.
Of course.
I'm smiling,
The
kind of
wave
like
tongue.
toward the ground as I hear all this.
And as you look up, Levy, you catch me glancing at you for a second. Then as you see me, I kind of look away very quickly, trying to continue the conversation with Astro. Astro, we do not wish to perhaps is there a place that I may find you? I ask because there are some excavations, some projects in the land of my people, and by any chance, if you were to be let go or relieved of your duties here, not that I'm suggesting such, but perhaps there could be a pupil or a journeyman that studies under you that could also that could have learned from your obvious masterful skill at the construction of stone. Perhaps this person could be recommended, and we would love to welcome him and maybe have them help in some various projects in my land.
I have no
Yes,
pupil
smile.
nor an interest in taking one.
Sorry. You have no. He said he has no interest in taking one.
Yes, and he does not currently have one.
Oh. Oh, I see. Well, if you do happen to find someone that would take your fancy in that way, I'm sure we would be most interested.
Where
But
is it that you hail from?
Zanzerheim, I smile.
Is that place also commanded by the Faim? Is it part of their kingdom?
Oh, yes, it is. The Freyin, my people, we have many different kingdoms. I happen to be from what? I happen to be from the most free, the greatest, I would say, of the Freyin kingdoms. Zanzerheim, but there is, of course, Rodoland past that, the land of the sun, as they call it, and the various duchies that make its make. Sudaheim, Ulfestrid, Scholland, and even a coastal island of which I forget the name of. But I've heard others as well, even as far south to the desert of Ash. There is a great kingdom there, and perhaps even I kind of look towards you, Eva, and up to you, Waheed. I believe there is even another land, a kingdom of the Freyin, of my people there. They call it New Niflheim. It's somewhere in Niflheim, I believe. Sir Knight, would you know the name of this place? Have you heard of it?
Do I know the name of it? Have I heard of it?
No, you have nothing to do with Niflheim. Sadly for Waheed, he doesn't really know much about Niflheim, but.
Would I happen to anything? Any idea what he's speaking of?
What's your academics again?
I just shake my head no.
It's 5 Greek academics with a forte in culture, if that matters.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. You've heard of it. You've heard bits and pieces of it. It's relatively close to First Port, comparative to some Freyin kingdoms, as it were. So you have heard a bit about it before. You have even on occasion met a few emissaries from it. They're very, very far and few between, but they have made their way out to First Port on rare occasions. And yes, you've heard a bit about it.
I think if you knew the name, it would be something like New Freyerheim or something. But I'm calling it something incorrectly. It was something like New Niflheim or something.
I know of a new Freyheim. I've heard of.
Oh, that's it. That's it exactly. My apologies, my grace. I didn't mean to cut you off there in my excitement.
No, it's fine. I'm not entirely sure myself. I've only seen or heard of a few emissaries from there. It doesn't seem like they're very forthgoing this far, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm kind of like staring up and kind of thinking, my eyes to the side, cocking my head slightly. No, you are right. If I recall, you are very knowledgeable about history and academics. It is, your tutors are incredible. I must I'll be sure to love to meet them as well if possible.
I'm sure most of them are busy, but I've learned the best way to experience things or learn things is with a passion and by doing it yourself, and that's what I've done a lot of. I I read a lot because I'm interested in culture and how people and societies, how they come together. I want to be like my father one day. I think everyone should want something like that. Being able to bring entire peoples together in peace
And I kind of look to the ground a little, and
and harmony and without blood.
From the things I have heard of your father, the great King Eva, and from even the little time that I've spent in your glorious presence, Princess, I already know that you are like your father, or at least that's certainly what the legends say.
I'll look up at you and
But I'm
smile.
sure when I meet him in person, as he smile, when I meet him in person, I'm sure the legends, as Astra says, are far even greater than the legends speak.
I sure will look at Levy and like, Levy, this is a guest of yours, isn't it?
Um, uh, I'm showing him around, but I suppose yes, he is.
I am in the middle of inspections to the seawall, but I suppose I could postpone them a bit if you would like. I could show him the wall up close.
That would.
I look back at Alyosha for a moment, and without him, giving a response to this, I'll look very quickly, kind of in this small moment of making this decision.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll decide for him in this way.
I think he'd very much like that.
I smile.
Come then.
Yes.
It'll take you over to the stairs leading up to the wall proper, where as you begin walking along,
I'll be following as well. I'm also interested in hearing firsthand about it.
you can see the wall itself is very sturdily built. You see it is patrolled by a very sizable regiment of guards who stop and bow at every moment that you walk past and stop their patrols for you. And you'll see large ballista and catapults mounted onto the walls, and each different point, like these strong points that have ballista and catapult specially designed for ship destroying oncoming enemy ships in particular. And as you walk past all of them, he'll be pointing out architectural features that does any of you have masonry at all?
Nope.
Nope.
Be completely honest with you, I forgot that all the stat, but no, I do not.
Alright, so most of
No.
the features he does point out are kind of lost on you. You don't really quite understand what this thing really is. He like names different parts of the wall that you've never heard that word before. You have no idea what purpose they serve, and so on and so forth. But he does get to the point where he will stop and start explaining things a little bit better when it comes to the ballista and the catapults and their wooden frames, and he'll describe them in great detail about how they connect and the purpose of this rope connected to this piece of wood here and how much tension it can take. And he'll be like, yes, this ballista here, you see, it provides enough power with this crank. 'Cause he literally just starts cranking the ballista back. He's like, yes, one man can have the power of a dozen Optalang with the ballista because of these cranks here. And then he'll stop the crank and he'll go and like show the ballista slowly start to bend back. He's like, and these wood have been reinforced in such a way they won't snap when you pull them back, even with all that pressure. You man, well, he points at one of the guards, and Waheed too. Yes, load the ballista.
I guess I'll go over there and load the ballista.
You and one of the guards go to
That's
load
the
the
guy.
ballista, but he goes to like help you pick the bolt up, and you just lift it up yourself.
Yeah, I just put it up there.
I'm listening very carefully to all these things as to I'm gonna put a point. Would that be eligible for a point in masonry from hearing these
Oh
things?
yes,
and
from all these
descriptions?
things going up this way. If you had 0 points into it, yeah, you can.
Paying very close attention
Yeah,
to it.
that would be perfectly valid to get a novice understanding of it from his descriptions.
Good.
As the giant men are loading ballistas and getting ready for war, I just appear next to Levy on the other side of a handmaid, and say, "My lady, perhaps if we should perhaps step back, smile,
Yeah, step back a bit and
step back. Yeah, I'm kind of stepping
smiling.
back even further. Kind of like leaning back, like leaning back. Super. I'm afraid this wooden thing is going to explode, and we're all going to be shrapnelled by splinters of wood, and therefore tainted and killed. So I see the tension of this ballista, like the craning, the bending wood, the groaning, the screaming wood that that it's about to just unleash its fury upon upon this extremely intelligent and masterful and impressive satyr, but also a crazy satyr, obviously. That with this insane contraption that he's playing around with, he's one day going to have a terrible accident, and I don't want to be near it. I'm kind of leaning back away from this wooden explosion that I'm hoping might not happen, but I don't know.
And he's like, Waheed, you've never used a ballista before, have you?
No, my lord, I have not.
Good, perfect. You see, these contraptions are not only durable, but simple. Waheed, and then he'll start instructing you on, turning the ballista back and make sure the bolt is properly loaded. It's like, see, even a man who has never touched a ballista in his entire life before can load this thing single-handedly. Although it's meant to have a larger crew, a single man can do it on his own, given a little extra time. That's the genius of this thing. Waheed here has never seen one of these up close before, but it's simple enough he can understand it, and the power is devastating. Waheed, fire.
I pull the lever and I fucking fire it.
And the ballista bolt will shoot and rocket out far, far out offshore and crash down into the waves of Leviathan as he will raise his hands like, and you see,
I'll try to get a little closer as well, and not have
should there have been a ship in the bay, the hole punched into it would be the size of a giant's fist, and they would be sinking to the bottom of the bay. All from a man who had never touched a ballista before. Now imagine a crew of highly trained soldiers manning an entire wall of them. This city's defense, there is a reason why the pirates have not attempted to raid the city proper.
When the ballista fires, I obviously clap as this, this is a great show. Most entertaining.
I'm just looking out there like in awe, like I'm just fascinated about all this is going on. I'm just looking over there at the waves as they crash into the waves.
I would be happy to show you the catapults, but they would take a full crew and far too long to prepare and load and such. We will skip them for now. Those
Perhaps
are
next time. But thank you for your presentation, Master Astro.
Yes.
So it was all very interesting. Thank you. I had no idea you were so passionate about these things.
Woodworking is my passion, yes. I'd only wished. Yes, he kind of pinches bridge of his nose a little bit like he's thinking. We should be heading back now. He looks up as you see Mazda slowly descends. The sun lowers and descends from the sky. The feast will be starting soon. I had been caught up in the inner workings of the wall and the ballista.
Of course. I take a moment as we're sort of walking back or walking through the seawall again. Your Grace, Lady Levy.
Yeah. Yes.
I heard your master speak of pirates, and of course the display of power along the sea wall. It's quite impressive, but have the pirates here have they come upon your shores as well?
No, they seem to be afraid for good reason. But it's the waters out deeper that we're worried about. We're being well, we had a problem for a while, but it's being dealt with now of pirates taking advantage of the trade routes and pestering our shipments and whatnot. But it's something to worry about. We're dealing with it.
It's been dealt with. you've come to some sort of arrangement.
Things are proceeding as planned, and they will be dealt with accordingly.
Of
It
course, of
takes
course.
some time for these things.
Oh, absolutely. I understand that perfectly. I seem to be thinking something, not saying it out loud, but just you can see the gears turning.
If you
As these
have
guys
any
talk.
questions, you may ask them. For you might not have much of an opportunity later.
I must confess I do have many questions and many things I wish to speak about. You are very knowledgeable, and it's very impressive, and there's so much I would like to know, but um, I fear I cannot for the moment, but certainly perhaps after the feast, I would be most if you would oblige me, my selfish request.
Of course, if I haven't had the time, I would love to teach you all I can.
You honor me, my grace. I smile.
I
It's
smile
really
back at you.
bright, just very happy, just like even begins to glow a little bit. Like it's very you've met Frayne throughout the city, and they always seem to be very cold and distant and dispassionate. But this guy is not. This guy is completely outwardly expressing his inner joy, his inner light, as it were.
I'm smiling, and then I kind of shift that into like my smile goes to a faint smile, and I look at you a little more seriously.
So I've heard and read the qualms between your people and the Myangi. I would
Oh,
like to ask
yes.
you how do you feel about them, the dark ones?
How I feel about them. I kind of as we sort of walking. Um,
I'm watching. I'm
my
watching you
smile
now.
dampens. Yeah, my smile dampens. For a second, as definitely caught off guard by that question. Um, I then look up and I see that you're looking at me intently. They are.
I could stop walking. I could stop walking and then just look at you as the waves crash behind us.
I stop as well, kind of like looking at you, but looking past you slightly as well. They are sad. And then there's like a bit of a wince which comes over my face, but then it kind of turns into uh, a bit of sadness, even slightly. They are people whom are twisted by their gods, and then I look more intently, more seriously, and forced to be something which no one ought be, and so they suffer, and so they make others suffer. But I know, and look back up, I know that is not the way it has to be. And I know there are others, and there are other ways, better ways, even for them.
And would you share this sentiment with their children, the half breeds and whatnot that come from them?
The half breeds. Oh, I was not aware that. Oh, yeah, as half interesting. Sorry, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but if you mean the children, their children,
No,
the kin.
I mean like well, you're aware that an ogre and a Myangi can have a child, and it'll be something in between.
Truthfully, I cannot say I was aware of this. I then stop and then I go a little bit pale as then my eyes go towards Waheed standing there as a giant towering monstrosity.
Oh, how tall was Waheed again, just for reference?
He's 8'7".
Yeah,
Just
I'm
taller
5'6".
than
I'm almost half your height, and
Yeah.
like there's three of me would be one of you. I I then look back at you, Levy. Oh, they are like their. What you mean? I apologize. They, like their parents, are creatures, people.
Sorry, you're cutting out a bit.
On this world, and we do not. We do not.
Jono, you I don't know if you can hear us, but your mic is kind of cutting out.
Born as. Sorry.
Technical difficulties. Sorry about that.
Their parents. Just like their children, they do not choose what we have.
If you're
Hello.
still, you're still cutting out.
We're still.
Sorry, it's really hard to hear you.
Yeah, you like you'll say something and then you'll stop us. Might be some connection issues possibly,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I think that was probably that.
Can
you guys hear me okay now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you're talking, we can't hear you again.
Oh no. Sorry, that's. I'm not sure what it was. It was working just fine for all the rest of this. I think I caught pretty much everything you said before the what you're saying about the parents and stuff.
Well, I guess while we wait for that problem to get sorted out, I'm a bit interested in what he thinks of the whole situation that's going on right now. How does he feel about this newcomer or this letter arriving from his father and such?
He's very interested and very anxious to see what his father has to say. And as for the newcomer, he is wary of him. All we know is his name and that he's an emissary. We don't know much else, and he's asking some questions and shit. So after all that's going on with the assassination attempt and all that, Waheed is on edge. So he's very wary of any newcomers or giving too much information to newcomers. But he's more interested in what his father has to say, and he really wants to read that letter.
And I'm guessing he hasn't partaken of reading it yet?
He has not yet. I mean, they're sitting there talking, so I mean, he could just open and read right now, but he doesn't want to be lax in his duty.
I mean, but technically he does know he's not going to have a chance to himself anymore. He's permanently assigned to the princess now.
I mean, Princess goes to sleep though.
hmm Also, how does Levy and Waheed feel about hearing mention of Zansaroheim?
Do we know anything about that?
Well, he only has one theology right now, so he probably doesn't know a whole hell of a lot
You-
about him.
Do you know how much theology does Levy have?
I have 2.
Yes, you both know vague bits about Zanzaro. You know, Zanzaroheim rebelled from Waterland and founded its own kingdom. And you hear it's supposed to be a utopia where everyone is equal and there are no kings or queens, but everyone is the same, kind of like almost like the communist dream, as it were.
Well, he thinks if it's too good to be true, it is, and he's wary. And it doesn't matter to him because the kindness is all that matters, and such is faith and all that. But 9 times out of 10, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. So he just takes everything with a grain of salt.
And how would Levy feel about it?
Levy's actually pretty interested in what she little she knows about it. It just seems to be very close to what she's trying to achieve here. She thinks that maybe it'd be something worth looking into, where she would have surely brung it to her father. But now with everything going on and the way he's been acting lately, she's honestly not even sure what to think about her father at this moment.
Well, he's more interested to know what a emissary of Zanzarheim has to say to the king. Like he wants to know what's going to happen there, what's going on.
And speaking of said emissary, he has rejoined us. Hopefully the technical difficulties are gone and he can continue his talk.
I think. Hello, I'm back.
Yep,
Welcome
I
back.
can hear you.
All right, awesome. Yep. So I got the backup thing now. It should be good. Okay. Yeah. So sorry, where did I cut off? I can redo that.
You're saying about their parents after you look at Waheed and had the realization and
Yes. So after I look back at Levy there, we're on the seawall there. We hear the crashing of the waves, the seagulls as the sun begins to slowly set in this late afternoon or this afternoon sky. I stand and look there, looking back at you, Princess Levy. The half breeds, or the parents and the children, half breed or not, no one here chooses what we become. It is the elder creators, it is the gods that decide for us these things. And so truly it never made any sense to me why we should cast anyone away, regardless of what they are, even if they're parents, regardless if they're half breeds or not. I have seen a few half breeds, and they can sometimes be sad, but they are not worthless, and some of them, many of them even I've met are genuine, good people, regardless of their parents. I suppose they all deserve a chance. That is what I believe.
I'm glad you feel that way.
I smile at you once more.
It's refreshing to hear about you. I know about Zenserheim. I've heard some about it, where you come from, being a wonderful utopia of equality. It's actually something that I'm working.
Yes.
I'm working towards.
I can catch myself as I say that.
Well, my father is working towards here. I'd be interested to see what you had to say to him. If it'd be all right, I would like to present you personally to my father whenever the time comes.
Your Grace, that would be quite an honor. My thanks, and yes, I'm truly I mean to smile brightly. I never expected I would find anyone here with such that would share such views, that would look upon kindly with of my my people, of my country, I must confess there is a lot of misconceptions and falsehoods spoken of it. My country is a young country, and we broke away long ago from Rotherland, as I spoke of earlier, to Master Astero. And ever since then, there has been continuous tension, fighting, levied against us. There is a constant effort to thwart my people, my country, on behalf of from Rotherland, and I kind of even look a bit exasperated, like even exhausted, like, oh, this happens over and over again. And so it is refreshing to be able to speak with far more open-minded and open-hearted people. I smile.
Yes, that is the way of this place.
Then I have come to the right place.
You know, the motto of the city is, like water, we may be changed but never destroyed. It's change and understanding is a very big part of how this city came to be so great. And we intend fully to continue that view.
It is most noble, and I cannot wait to meet the king here, your father. It is, my lady, your grace. Thank you so much for taking me around this castle and the sea wall. Truly,
It's my pleasure. It was actually very pleasant to have met you and speak with you. You seem very agreeable.
thank you.
I say this smiling at you, and then I begin to I sort of motion towards the interior again. I begin to walk towards the dining hall to prepare and wait for the.
And the servants are buzz as you enter the castle proper again, and everyone is running about, and their guards have been doubled, and everything is being set up, and that this is going to be quite the feast, and it is actually going to spill over into the city, as it is going to be a full-blown festival in Waheed's honor, as he's going to
Oh
be a
my.
great and honored guest of the king this night.
Oh shit.
That's beautiful.
And as you all get seated, the king is taking no further audiences today, as you've all been informed. But he is open to the feast hall is open to all of the nobility of the city, and that includes emissaries. So you all will be able to attend the feast, but the king will not be taking any more private audiences today. And so as everyone gets everything together and gets it settled down, you have a VIP ticket, as it were, being at Levy's side, being able to be ushered in right and proper and put forward to seated next to her, close to the king and his family. And it was
Truly,
immediate family.
wow,
And
wow.
everyone gathers around, and Waheed has the seat of honor at the king's right hand, sitting right next to the king. To his left is the king's favorite wife, and to the right is Waheed. And I will show you the pictures of the king and his wife that is at his side right now. Here is the king, and here is the wife who sits at his left side. And there are a myriad of nobility and the entirety of the Council of Eight and such are all here. And the feast begins with Just everything being laid out, all kinds of seafood imaginable is laid out in massive platters
Also,
before all of you. Yes.
Waheed. They asked Waheed what his favorite food was, and he told
Yeah.
him that it was steak, like from bovine.
And so they have all kinds of seafood imaginable just spread out in a massive feast, including vegetarian options for Frain.
Of course,
And
yes. I was about to ask about that.
And then, particularly, they serve forth a massive, literal, huge, just almost like an entire rib level of huge steak, and place it before Waheed. A steak that might even sate his hunger in one go is placed down before him.
He also his favorite beverage is honey milk.
And they have an entire jug of it for you as well.
I seem very happy, like seeing that he actually has all this, and he's finally getting. I feel like the praise he deserves, as it were. I was very so happy to see this, and
Waheed is just like blushing. He's very, he's this is overwhelming. All this stuff. He he's not used to all this decadent stuff, and it's off putting.
If you were to go into the Roll20 game and scroll down to the Council of 8, you'll see all the pictures of everyone there's available, so I don't spam your entire screen with all of them. But I will pull up particularly prominent members that you may be interested in seeing of people that are here at the feast right now.
Oh, very cool. As we're also just at the feast and sitting next to Levy, who's excited, obviously very happy for Waheed, and I'm very happy as well. But it's definitely very difficult to see. He's interesting to look at. This half Mihangi, half ogre, sitting at the table next to this monster sitting next to the table, sitting next to the king. As a place of honor, I know that he deserves it, but man, it's difficult to watch him eat that meat. It's very difficult. I'm like smiling. Yeah, it's great. Oh god.
Yeah, Waheed is just human. He's human, and he's no Miyagi at all in there, or ogre.
That's as you say. That's what you say.
I will be looking towards the actual one as he has a seat here for helping Waheed. Is that right? Like,
yes, they do not have nearly as place of honor.
I do make sure to as I see him, I make sure to. I'm sure Alyosha makes he notices. I'm not necessarily trying to hide it. That I'm looking towards him. This is also a huge creature, as it were. Not nearly as big as Waheed, but he's sizable on his own.
Oh, I see. Wow. Okay. Wow. So Alyosha, I'm trying to figure out what this guy is. If Waheed is a half Mihangi, half ogre, this guy also looks vaguely ogre-like, but smaller. I'm perplexed. So is he sitting at the table, or is he where is he, this guy?
Savolt is he is at the table, but he is away from all of you. They're allowed here at the feast because of their role they played in helping and providing information and whatnot, but they are still fairly far away from the council and the king and such. They're like way at the other end of this massive banquet hall of you guys. They're in the same room as you, but that's about as close as they get to you as being in the same room.
Oh, is Zoldy's husband here as well?
Yes, he is. Actually, thank you for reminding me to pull him up. Here he is. And then, as everyone the feast has already begun a little bit. Like, it's not like too deep into it. You're just got your plates ready, just about to start eating. Some late guest will arrive. As you will see, High Guard Bram and his wife, the High Priest of Pelgin in the city, the one who the king has not been on the greatest terms with, and nor has Levy or Waheed.
Yeah,
He will-
I
his
see him.
wife
I'll
will enter.
immediately look uncomfortable as I see him walk in.
And they will
Okay.
take seats at the heads with the nobility and such, with the such as it were. And
To let Alyosha know that this is a stark contrast. He notices that there's something definitely amiss. Wherein I was extremely happy and excited, and I was looking between Waheed, my father, and the Svolt, and then I see this man walk in, this high guard, and I immediately just like my smile drops, and
I catch that. I catch that change. It's very obvious, especially with a bubbly personality like yours, and then for that to suddenly just die. I catch that, and I look curiously at this man. I assume he's bedecked in the pimpery of Pelgan deckery.
yes,
Yes.
he has made
So,
it clear
I am
of Pelgan
I am
affiliation.
yeah, and I recognize that that bedeckment, as it will, if you will, better, of his Pelganite ways.
a lot is going through my head at this moment, wherein I remember that my father made a public display of everything that happened to the Church of Helgen. So she's expecting there to be some sort of outburst here, and once again, she can't help but to think that of what her father may do to Hagrid for such an outburst. But it's worrying. Olivia begins to look worried, and I sort of almost begin to play with my food a little as I'm trying to kind of get fidgety.
I want to ask the question, but I stopped myself from asking, as this is not my place to ask such things.
The king will rise from his seat after everyone else is seated and begin eating just a bit.
I'll watch him immediately. My eyes will go to him when he moves.
Now that we all here, I would present with an honor to Sir Waheed Drake, Knight of Zakinis. And you see one of the servants will come forth and provide the king with a box, which he will open. He'll take out this. You'll see a gold chain slowly emerge from the box, and then as he lifts it, you'll notice it's a necklace, a very large necklace, designed the one befitting of Waheed's stature. And in the center of this necklace lies a diamond. And in Kvegathale, for those of you unaware, diamonds are the hearts of dragons that have died, and they're like not like they're very rare to find. Basically, put it that way. They're these very, very, very extremely almost legendary stones, precious stones.
Oh,
And
Waheed is blushing, and
this
his eyes
one
are extremely wide.
is like has a tint of icy blue to it, as it seems to have come from one of Zakinis' brood. As he will place it upon Waheed.
Waheed will get out of his chair and kneel, and he'll prostrate to the king. Like this is, and he's blushing deeply, and this is too much. Like he's gonna have a fucking anxiety attack.
And he says, Waheed, for your brilliant service, I have went to no short lengths to acquire this heart. A heart of a deceased being of your lord, one of Zakinis' brood. I feel that none should carry this heart close to them rather than a loyal knight of Zakinis, such as yourself.
I am honored, my lord, but I am just a humble knight. This gift is and he just stumbled. He just lost for words.
And in mechanical terms, should Waheed, for any reason, decide to sell this, that would be worth a total of 5 opulence points to him for the necklace alone.
Whoa, dude!
And it is a solid gold necklace with a diamond heart centered, like dead center in the center of it. And the diamond is like huge. It's like it's heart shaped, like almost the size of a heart. And it is, it fits Waheed well though, because of his huge stature. And the king will just smile at you. Let it be known, I reward those who are loyal to me.
Thank you, Your Highness. This gift is beyond words.
Yeah, he'll smile at Levy. He'll just look at her with a smile on his face as well.
I was feeling down, but I think all this, my smile comes back to me, and extremely happy and pleased for this gift, and to see that he's getting recognized as I feel that he should, as my honorary guard.
Your uncle is also here, Waheed, who stands at the side of the king's chair, as well as his guard. But he has not said a word or said anything meaningful, but he is here. The king will take a seat again, with the pleasantries exchanged and the gifts bestowed upon the honors. Let us all feast. Feast, everyone. Feast as much as you can take.
Waheed will look around and they got the poison tasters here.
No, but you could have assumed that the food was tested before it was brought out, as is what is normal
I mean,
for the king to do. But
I'll lean into the king. My lord, please forgive me, but in light of recent events, may I be the one to taste the food first for the royalty?
you may do so for Levy if you wish, but I'm fine. I'm assured of my food. I'm assured of my daughters as well, but I appreciate your loyalty and duty.
He looks nervous, like he looks really concerned, like, okay, as you wish, my lord, but I will get up and I'll go over to Levy.
All right.
I'll be there. Levy Eva, I shall pour you a drink. And I start pouring you a drink.
Aw,
Some honey mead.
And I hear the thunderous footsteps of the warrior of Waheed approach. I look up at.
Yeah, I see. I look down like inquisitively at the wine jug that I'm holding. I see like the vibrations moving through the wine. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? I feel something.
The T-Rex comes out of nowhere.
I look up at you. And
Clever girl.
I'll smile greatly and.
This is a wonderful occasion. I'm so happy for you.
He'll just look away shyly. Princess, if I may I please taste your food and your. I look at her drink and I'm like, oh god damn it. I can't drink wine. I can't drink alcohol. But please.
Sure.
I will get the cutlery and I will just cut a piece of her whatever she had to be eating and I will taste it and make sure that it ain't poisoned. And
Kind of like I'm looking a little bit confused, almost like slightly like with my slight embarrassment as I look upon you as doing this. But I'll let you.
I just
I get ready to raise my plate as
you,
well.
Princess.
Like, is this guy going to be eating from everyone's plates here? Is this their custom? Like, okay, I suppose I'll just play along.
How do you respond to him raising his plate?
I look at him weirdly, like really, like what the fuck?
I slightly raise it slightly, like, yeah. I set it back down quickly, like, okay.
The confusion,
Bit confused,
like
but happy.
what the hell? I don't say nothing.
Yeah, I'm also looking at you like, what the hell? Like, I don't know. I thought
That's how I was
like
looking
an
at you.
awkward
What
moment.
the hell? What the hell is this?
I kind of look between them both at this moment. They're both confused, looking at each other, and
I
try to clear out the confusion a bit. And
He's just testing my food for me. He's very loyal, and he's making extra double, triple sure that everything is well is my my meal. That if nothing is amiss with it.
I will also grab your goblet and I will look at it and I will drink some. I won't swallow it. I'll put it in my mouth. Right? I won't drink it though.
Right.
I'll put it in my mouth
I
and switch it around. And
I
I'll
reach
sit it back
I reach
down.
forward. I attempt to just before if you let me, just before I reach forward and I say, I can taste that if it'll make things easier for you.
He looks embarrassed, but he was like, yes, please, thank you. And then he'll just hand the goblet to you and watch you with like the most intent ever.
I could do no less for a knight of a humble dragon. and
I'll watch
I
you as
give it a
well.
drink.
And
give it a drink,
as
and
I see
and the
drink,
reason, yep.
as he drank from my cup, I can't help but kind of have a small amount of redness go through my face. But I'll try not to let it show. I sort of like kind of look away a little and kind of just let you do your thing. But
And I do. I give it a bit a sip, and make a gulp noise. I then grab a napkin, wipe the rim where I once again where I drank from it, and I present it back to the loyal sort of dragon, and then I wait, and then I
look
wait,
back up.
I
and I look at you.
I just stare at him for like a minute, just still holding the glass.
I look
I just stare at him
between
intently. And if he didn't show any signs of,
I kind of
dying, then
I'm kind of stretching a little bit. Yeah, I'm kind of stretching a little bit, just kind of like moving my shoulders around, just trying.
and then like after a
No,
minute
I
has
think it's
passed,
good.
and I
very
will
nice.
put the goblet down in front of the princess, and I will just bow deeply, and I will return to my seat.
As you're bowing,
Thank you again, Waheed. You're ever loyal and ever wonderful.
It is my duty, princess. No thanks are necessary, and I will just go back to my seat.
I'll take my cup. And I'll kind of like turn my cup, like kind of from where you drunk from. I'll like make sure to drink from the opposite side of the
Yeah,
rim of the
just
cup.
as a note,
Also, a flame tender. As I go back and begin,
and just as a note as well, I got the forte in theology dogma, so I sort of know a little bit about people's sort of 9 acts of reverences, if you will.
All right.
What were you saying? Waheed?
as I go back and begin cutting my meal and everything, I will pull that letter out like under the table, and I will unfold it, and I will read it while I'm eating. I will glance down and start reading the letter.
All right, you will see it is addressed to Sir Waheed Drake, and then it will very formal. And I hope this letter finds you well. I had received word from your uncle about your deeds and about your loyal service and to king and church. I've heard that you have saved the king's life, and I do hope you are properly recognized for your service, and I'm sure that your humility will not allow this to go to your head, and that you understand the repercussions that may come from your actions, and that even though you have saved the king this day, that things may change in the future, and that duties may change, and that what is requested of you may change. And I pin you this, my dear son, in my hopes of reminding you duty must come before any want, and that no matter whom you are sworn to protect or whom you are sworn to kill, you must perform your duty with no hesitation and without allowing your emotions to cloud your judgment. And it is like signed and like an official signature of like your father's like full name and everything, and his titles and whatnot.
As I'm reading this, my face will just get really grim, and I will fold it back up and stuff it back into my my pouch, my pocket there, and I will just begin slowly cutting my meat and everything, and just eating it very solemnly.
But as you go to fold it back up and put it into your pocket, you notice something about the seal.
What about the seal?
As you notice, the seal was unbroken before you opened it, so you're fairly certain it hasn't been tampered with. But like just under the seal, there seems to be something under the seal, like someone I hid something under the seal when they pressed it down.
I will peel the wax off as gently as I can. Peel the seal off there with my my fingernail under there, and try to see what's under there.
It is a smaller scrap of paper.
I will.
It is like very covered in wax. So you have to like carefully edge around the edges to unfold it.
I do this, but I mean, I'm looking around too. You know, not suspiciously, but just making sure nobody like not drawing attention to myself as I'm doing this. I'm trying to do it very deftly, but Waheed is.
Yeah, most people are either drunk or talking and reveling, and not a lot of people are, paying attention to what people are doing with their hands under the table.
All right. Well, I will gently pry this from its hiding place and gingerly unfold it and try not to tear it or anything.
All right, and it simply says a single number on it. 5,024.
What is the year now?
This is cycle 5,000.
I fold it back up and I will place it in my my satchel.
All right. And if you do nothing else, to say nothing else, the revelries will continue.
I will excuse myself, like a little time later to go to the laboratory, and I will leave the hall and I will find a sconce or a brazier, and I will toss both notes into the fire.
Morgul will lap at it and eagerly consume this offering.
I stand away when I do it. I don't get close to the fire.
All right, and you see the fire as it laps this up. You could have swore that it lashed out at you a little bit, like it more than the brazier should have. As well, it's not so much of like the fire roared up from fuel being thrown into it, but more like that fire literally just spawned a tendril and lashed out at you a little bit, type of thing.
Oh, I know Morgul despises me, but that's fine.
And while everyone else goes on, and a bit of banter is exchanged by people, just courtly banter. There's no real time to have any private conversations or meaningful conversations with people. Just as Waheed returns, your uncle will put his hand on your shoulder. Uncle Atlas, Waheed.
I will just look at him, stop.
My boy. He looks at you with a grim face, grimmer than you've ever seen before.
Uncle, is something amiss?
He looks extremely hesitant. He looks down on the ground like he's really deeply contemplating something right now.
What is wrong, Uncle?
He shuts the doors like you're inside, but he like shuts the doors and bangs on them lightly 3 times, and then you hear a heavy thud outside, like someone just barred the door from the outside.
Wait, he shut the feast hall doors?
Yes, and locked you and him and everyone else inside.
Uncle, what is going on?
He draws his sword. No one is to leave the feast hall, Waheed. No one. King's orders. He turns and stands with a sword, like stands at ease with a sword, like pressed down on the floor like a noble standing, not really drawing too much attention to himself, just like a stoic gate guard.
Uncle, I get it. I'm looking concerned as all fuck, and I picked him a Niffin. What is going on, Uncle?
The king has ordered an execution.
Of whom?
Closes his eyes. Stand guard, Waheed. None shall leave.
As you say, Uncle. I will draw my sword and stand guard too. Looking nervous. I am looking concerned.
Is that the only entrance into the place, by the way?
Yes. And no one in here is armed besides the guards. So, Waheed, I don't know how that made him feel worse or more comfortable or what, but he does notice only the guards are armed in here. So he can take that as he will.
I'm looking at the king. Is the king paying anyone in particular more attention than anyone else? Is he eyeballing somebody? What's his demeanor like?
Right now he's happy. He's hugging his wife like occasionally, and like, they're feeding each other food and being joyful and whatnot, and he's just chill as he can be.
I'm scanning at the guests. Like I look at Highguard and see what he's like.
He's obviously looking a little awkward being here with everything that's gone on. He looks a little upset, and he kind of like stares daggers at the king once in a while, but doesn't actually say or do anything. And he's a decent bit away from the king.
I just whisper under my breath, like, "It's the king to save us." As right now, what he's thinking, he's gonna execute the fucking high priest of Pelkin or some shit. He doesn't know what's going on. Holy shit, Waheed's on edge.
All right. Well, do either of the other of you have any conversations while all this stuff's going on, or anything meaningful that you would like to play out before we proceed with events?
Princess Levy.
Yes.
I did forget to mention one thing. The lighthouse. I have not been in the city very long, and I've only seen its light from a distance when I was approaching.
Oh, yes. I love the lighthouse. It's very it's the first of its kind. I heard it's to help ships not get lost at sea. It's a wonderful creation.
I would very much love to see it. Was it Astro? Master Astro that constructed it?
I do believe so. Yes, it's his idea. You see,
And he does not take a pupil. Oh,
No.
Such a shame. Such a shame. He's truly a one of a kind genius.
Kind of lean in a little.
between us, I think I know why.
Hmm. I lean in conspiratorially.
Well, you see, I believe he worships Leviathan, which is very uncommon for someone here, and of his, someone of his race would be more inclined to a Bacchus or Opate or something. But I'm afraid I'm afraid that he doesn't want to have a pupil because he can't find someone who shares his faith. He's a very seemingly devout one. He's personally financed the temple of Leviathan here. Fully.
I see. Yeah, yes, I see. Yes, he did come across as, forgive my words, as quite serious. Quite uncommon for your average satyr. Interesting. Yes.
Okay, I'll step back normally.
So how did you like the sorry,
Kind of like I'm kind of get caught up on my words.
how are you enjoying the
A
food?
smile. Oh, it is delicious. I especially love the glassware that you have here. It's quite remarkable. I've only seen a few pieces, but I gestured towards like the glassware imported from the Desert of Ash.
I glanced at it as well.
Yes, it is very pretty. Honestly,
It truly is.
I was raised here, as you know, and it's very common to me. But I can see how the others eat and drink, and it's very different. There's one time I even visited a tavern and had a drink there. It was one of the staples.
truly?
Yes. You see, you of course I know you'd understand as emissary. You have to do some things that you wouldn't necessarily do on your own volition to further relations at times. I didn't want to seem rude, and so I partook of the special mead. I think it was mead that they had. It was not bad, but very powerful.
Yes, I understand that completely. There's there's some customs as well amongst the. Oh goodness me! I did recall one custom where we met the sirens of Phileus in the Bay of Phileus, just close by. I believe it lies between Firstport and Zanzarheim, and there was the great gathering there and a communal exchange. And I recall they have a custom where you eat. They eat raw fish. I look horrified. And it was custom for all to partake, as that would
That
be
actually
rude
sounds
otherwise.
sort of pleasant.
Oh yes, of course, it was very pleasant. Very.
I kind of blush a little bit.
educational.
Oh no, I mean, to them,
Yes,
of course. To
Oh no,
them.
yes, of course. To myself as well. It was very
No,
it was very interesting. I would definitely say it was very interesting, and I'm very glad.
Sirens. It was.
Yes.
My apologies.
I kind of like blushing.
No,
I
to
look back on my
apologize.
food
I'm
again.
also kind of like a bit flustered. Just remembering the horror of after of the of being sick for 6 days. And then recovering from essentially salmonella. The things you do. Yes. But it was definitely an enriching cultural experience, and something which I do not regret for one moment.
I look back at you.
But it was
If
was
you don't mind me
nice,
asking,
and of course
did you hear any of their singing? I know that they're very powerful singers and beautiful voices.
I did, and I managed to even learn a single song, the easiest of them, but
You did.
it is something quite beautiful. It truly is. It can also be very tense and
Before you leave,
even-
could you please show it to me? Teach me.
I'm no master, but I will sing a little song that I recall. It's a song of yes, it's I shall relate. It's half a ballad and half a song, but it tells a story of the deep dark waters and its depths, its unending, fathomless depths.
It's the song in Fatoshan.
It is in Fatoshan. It's I know not the meaning of the
Loud up.
word. I do not,
I look
do not-
very happy.
I don't know the words, or at least the meaning of the words. I remember the tunes, and I believe the pronunciation is okay. Are you skilled in the tongue?
Yes, I actually am.
Levy will then see the king motion towards her, like motion for her to come to him.
Stop.
My apologies. I'll return.
I smile
Please.
and
I give you a curt bow, and
I do a
There you go.
curtsy to you and stand up and kind of briskly walk over there. I felt there. Sad, smiling.
He kind of pulls you down close to him a little bit and whispers in your ear, in Fatoshan. And Levy, darling,
Father,
I have something to ask of you.
anything.
I want you to sing a song for the feast.
You want me to sing? Of course I will.
Now, sing the song your mother taught you. The one she used to sing to you when you were little. You knew this to be a siren lullaby, particularly.
Of course.
This is also, I would note, this song is a bit, let's say, gruesome for the uninitiated, as it sings a lullaby talking about how the world is safer after your enemies have been killed, and about how that basically kind of like a retelling of. She changed some lyrics around, like a retelling of what the sirens would sing to their children about how they really drove species to extinction. But she kind of changed some of the words to match better with your current situation of like singing it how your enemies are gone and how the Eva family shall reign and such like that. Kind of just a few lyrics here and there, but it's basically a song about. It's a very melodic, peaceful song about the destruction of one's enemies and the safety in the world that comes from them being gone.
All right, I'll
Anyone
stand
who
up.
doesn't understand Fatoshan will basically think you're just singing like a melody, like a little lullaby melody. It's not harsh at all. You would have to understand it to understand anything about the brutality of the lyrics.
I'll stand up straight and I'll kind of. I'll. If I'll say anything, I'm going to try to use my voice to gather the attention in and of itself. I'll just start singing. Make a roll for that, and I'll start singing just abruptly. And I'll make the roll now. One moment. I always forget to get my dice roll ready.
Grant, if you could switch to the rolls from roll 20, please, for the viewing pleasure. So let me see the rolls. Also, you gonna make the roll? You said?
That's one. I gotta re-roll. That's one.
Ooh, an
Hold on.
explosion.
That explodes.
So that is a 33.
All right. Also, you'll notice that a group of bards that were playing just songs before
So that's like the most I've ever rolled
Yeah.
on this. It's really incredible.
So as you see
Look
the
out.
bards gather around and they start playing this melody that matches it, and it sounds kind of like the song I have playing for you guys in Roll 20. I'm sorry, everybody at home, you can't hear it, but it for reference, if you want to turn it on and you have Roll 20, it is "With the Sea" by Kevin McLeod. I think I pronounced his name right. I hope so. But that's the name of the song that is playing right now in Roll 20. And that's "With the Sea" with Kevin McLeod. And that song, that kind of melody, starts getting played with the bards. And Levy's voice starts matching with it perfectly, and everyone stops their banter. Everyone stops and they start looking at her. And some of the sirens, particularly, and a few of the people who do speak Fatoshan, do any of you speak Fatoshan?
Negative.
Negative.
All right. Well, the people who do speak Fatoshan, the few people who do, they're even more entranced by this than normal. One, at the oddity of the melody of slaughter, essentially, and the rest of the people are just simply entranced by this foreign tongue. That's the most beautiful thing that they've ever heard. Pretty much no one in here has heard anything even come as close to this before, most likely. And the vast majority of the people are entranced with it as you will actually literally hear outside a thunderbird call, like a thunderbird will join in the chorus of Levy's song
That's beautiful.
as the high moments will be bam with thunder, with the high moments the crashing of thunder, as if Fatosh herself was looking upon Levy's song right now. This essentially this praise to killing your enemies in the name of Fatosh, so that your world may be a safer place without them. It's like a little lullaby of sorts to the siren as I described. And as this all happens,
I kind of again lose myself in the song, and I close my eyes to this, and I let myself be carried along and carried away like a wave on this tune, and I just put my entire heart into it.
and then Waheed, ever vigilant that he is, will notice the guards draw their swords as everyone's entranced by Levy.
Oh shit.
And Levy has her eyes closed. She doesn't see this. Everyone in the room's eyes are on her, other than the king. The king has a deep smile on his face. And then you see the guards approach up. And they stealthily approach behind and get their blades ready. And you see a guard pulls his blade back. He's standing behind High Guard's back as he draws his sword back quietly. Does Waheed do anything? He's the only one who's noticing this right now.
Nope. He stands vigilant.
Your uncle closes his eyes.
I don't. I watch it. I just stare at it.
As then the guard brings his sword down on the unsuspecting High Guard from behind, connecting with his neck and severing his head in one blow. As the priest of Pelgan collapses to the ground, his head lying at the feet of his wife, who looks down and screams, breaking Levy's song.
Hearing this, I'll stop, and then like I'll become concerned. I've never been broken off so abruptly before, so I'll look and stop.
The king will get up and clap. Viva, screaming and crying, had her husband's decapitated head at her feet.
The blood just spewing all over the food.
And his body fell onto the table, like fell forward onto the table.
Oh no, the table just drenched in blood.
I
I'll
stand
cover
up
my
for the
mouth. I
table.
gasp. I stand back. I stand back a bit. Shaking. The fear of the whole mouth. This is a horrific sight.
And the king is clapping and he's like, wonderful. A wonderful song to end the reign of Pelgan in my city. I will be taking High Guard's place as the husband of all of his wives that he once had. I will take them as my own, and they shall be taken care for. But as we speak, my men. He looks to everyone and declaims, my men are in the process of killing every single member of the Church of Pelgan in the city at the moment. They have defied the king's will. They've attacked my daughter and disgraced my face. You see the people are like in complete and utter shock. And I would have it be known that the wave tongue can crash down with the fury of Leviathan, as well as he may soothe and calm the hearts of those around him. The temple of Pelgan, behold, as he goes over and rips back the drapes upon the window, he rips them to the ground as you see a blaze in the distance where the Church of Pelgan once stood. Behold the fate of those who would defy the King of Waves, the King of the Sea.
I just stand speechless, just looking down this blaze. I'm too frightened to look back at, too disgusted and frightened to look back at this corpse of Haggard and the blood that's left over.
The worship of Pelgan, this false father of civilization, as he has declared himself, shall be banned in my city herefore. The severed heads of his slaughtered heathens that follow his name and defy the will of their king are offered up in praise to Fatash's name this holy night. And I hereby declare that this festival shall be held once every cycle on Pelgan's holy day as we celebrate the disposal of this wretched faith from our city, so that we may live in peace once and for all, and that humans and non-humans may be equals, and that we shall all live in harmony together, and that Helgen's weight will not be down upon us any longer, and the council will be accepted for whom they are, for the siren, as he points at them, for the satyr, for the ogre, for the frame, and this will be a place of unity. This shall be a place of harmony between the people, and Pelgin has no place in such a city. And he'll go over and grab Levy. My child, Levy Eva, she is a half breed between myself and my siren lover.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm so trembling at this point.
He like literally picks her up a little bit, like puts her in front of him. Not like lifting her into the air, but just like picks her up and sets her in front of him. She is the face of everything we represent, everything this city represents. We, as a people, shall not let the gods stand before us and tell us what is right and what is wrong. We shall decide that for ourselves, and those who would oppose us shall meet the fate of Highguard and his clergy. All of you here have nothing to fear from my wrath. All of you here have reason to praise this night and these events. The night of the slaughtered ant, as it shall be known. And how Pelgin and their tyranny has been rid from this city. And
I just look up at my father from
as you'll
underneath him.
see, some people will actually start clapping at this, and as a few start, more people kind of start going along with it until the room kind of gets whipped up into
I'll
a
watch.
cheer.
I'll look back down and see. I'll look and see who's clapping as well, so I can keep note of who I can see who is genuinely happy about this and who is not.
I will be clapping as well, maybe halfway through the as it builds up to its crescendo. I'll just slowly clap together, extremely stiffly.
Does everyone in the room
extremely
clap?
pale.
Yeah, but basically everyone in the room.
Who are the ones who don't? Do you clap, Waheed?
Waheed is just in there stoically. He doesn't fucking clap.
What about his uncle?
No, the guards stand stoically.
And what about the guests like the like Savolt and them?
Savolt just seems confused, and just like at the very end, as he realizes he's one of the only people in the room not clapping, he kind of awkwardly claps, like he doesn't really want to, but he's kind of scared he's going to get in trouble if he doesn't. He is a commoner who was invited to a feast of nobility after all, and he just laid witness to a horrible event just happened before his eyes, and he saw the wrath of the Sea King unleashed, and he does not wish to garner that wrath himself, so he will join in the claps. And the Sea King will step forth and just hug Levy from behind, kiss her on her head. Our people, the sea and the land united. She is the embodiment of this. He has a massive smile on his face.
I kind of have some tears in my eyes, but I try to keep my eyes clear. I kind of wipe my tears from my face, and I try to sing song and
you will see
slow down the
Celestia,
tempos.
the siren. On the count of 8, he'll motion towards her, and she'll come and stand at his side. And this, I declare to all of you, shall be my wife, Levy's mother, as a marriage between the land and the sea meet, as our people have met, and Levy shall be the heir to my throne, the heir to the land and to the sea, the queen of the coast. And then people will let out a cheer for it. And she shall bridge the divide between our peoples once and for all. and we shall be truly united.
I just look at him. I just look straight up at him, like he got all my attention. So I'm just like even further shocked with it.
He just looked at you,
Father.
smiling. You shall unite our people in ways none ever could other than you. You shall fulfill your destiny. He kind of whispers to you and kisses you on the forehead.
But Father, you'll always,
I can stutter.
you'll always be here, and I can never take your place.
One day you will. One day, Levy, you will lead our people to the brighter future.
I kind of just nod, like bow my head to him.
Thank you so much.
Then, with that, we shall wrap this session up with soliloquies now. Cutting it a little bit short, but I think that it's an appropriate end point here. So, with that, Jono, why don't we take your soliloquy first, as you are sure to have quite a bit to say after that display.
Indeed. Okay, just gathering my thoughts. Okay, so we cut back to a few moments before when Alyosha was standing there with Princess Leva, or with Princess Levy Eva, and I wanted to ask her then about her hair. No one else of the Eva line of humans here had hair like hers. She is different, this one. Far different than the others which I've spoken to, the other humans, the other people here. There is a genuine love in her, in this one. And it is so refreshing coming to this place, this strange land far away from my home, my family, and to see such kindness in another, yet so different, but yet so not different either. It is truly warming to my heart, and I see that she has potential. It makes me smile as I gaze over towards the giant Waheed and her Mihangi ogre, god, the knight of Zakenis. Somehow, what is going on in that land of cold and ice, so far away from the ring of fire that the order should even accept them, but that is still good. I do not think it's right for them to be cast out, even if they are the daughters and sons of evil gods. But there is one who will accept all, no matter what. The owner of all hearts. As Levy goes to her father and begins to sing the siren song of an age, echoing through the acoustics of the castle feast halls here of the stone. And as that reverberates, and the chorus, the echo of passion from that little voice, from that little body, and just awe overcomes me as I soak and luxuriate in the tones and tenors of the voice. A deep welling embarrassment comes over me with my pathetic 2 grades of sing, thinking that I would be some sort of teacher or tutor in the ways of singing to this one, who is perhaps of equal or even greater than the greatest siren performers that I have ever met on the coast in the city of Thage. I smile and laugh as she completely takes the room, and everyone is enraptured and engrossed in her song. And then the striking of the blade and the scream of a freshly made widow and the fall of a head of the priest, anointed one of Pelgan, falls, and the declaration of the king, his victory over his enemy. And what, as he rips down, declares his love for his siren wife and declares the parentage of his daughter Levy. Her blue hair, it came from that? This is not possible. Could this be possible? As the drapes are torn down and the distance, the fires engulf a large grand cathedral building, and there's bells ringing and shouting as the fires burn. He is set aflame. The king of Firstport has set aflame to the foundation of humanity that is Pelgan. What is going on here? I grit my teeth as I clap, and unsure now. So hopeful from the beginning, now unsure. But then, yet there is hope, there is light here. He spoke of some sort of equal path, living together, all living together. And that echoes what my country is. We all come together, we all work together. And this wave tongue, a wave of blood, it seems, has called an exile, a pogrom against the faith of Pelgan. Surely this will have ramifications. If I know my tutelage, there might be some sort of answer from Baal or others. I must act quickly. This is an ally. This place, this people. There is potential here. They are ready for the freedom of love of Zansro that she offers, the owners of my heart, the owners of all our hearts, and of my country. I came here sent to look upon the king and to accept his cooperation with the pirates that are attacking our coastline. And here now things are changing very quickly, rapidly. And Levy, she's caught up in the middle of it. She asked me about the scions or the half-breeds. I could not fathom to guess that she was perhaps talking about herself. But I meant it regardless, whether it was about her or anyone else. I do care for her, even though I have only just met her. I have a way of reading people, a genuineness about her. She wants to make the world a better place. And as do I. Any place that's better. Better than what it could be. A world, a place, a land, a kingdom, an alliance that's based on love. And not anything foul or violent. But I must tread carefully. I know not what is truly behind these events, what has caused the king to act in such a way, to be so brazenly open to declare war against his own creator. This is no small thing. There is much I must learn here, and if I am permitted to stay, I must study, come to terms, come to find out what's going on here. For all I know, this could be some sort of Resurrite insurrection, even here, mixed with perhaps some warmongery from Fatash. I must be careful until I know for sure. I cannot hide what I am, and nor do I wish to, but I would be an easy target if there were Resurrites here in this country, in this city, in this court. I must find out what's going on, so that love, light, and Zansro's divine will, and the will of the twin paramours of light whom I serve, the chosen of the Zanzarim, beloved saviors Labriel and Berlal, what they desire of me and my mission here. Only that, only her, only Zanzaro. As something begins to tinge inside the core of Alyosha's heart, as if that song, that siren song of an age, of a new millennium, this cycle 5000, seems to still echo inside his soul. And there's an image of a flying eagle upon the winds of Igvale that comes to mind for some reason. Something strange. Something not felt. Maybe in a long time, maybe never. A confusing thought. He stands there and claps, unsure what to do, but determined. That's it.
Wonderfully done, and now we will hear from the Princess Levy as she tells us her innermost feelings with such things.
As I just bowed my head to my father, coming to terms with all that's been said and all that he has planned for me, I'll turn back around with determination and I'll stand before the others as one day I'll lead over them myself, and I need to be strong for that. As my song was cut out, I'll continue to sing and to my song to its finish. And but this time I will rearrange the words just a bit, not enough for those who know this song to be really might not really pay much attention in the way that I. Instead of after the world being a safe place after enemies are killed, it's more like a emphasis on after they're gone. As in, I try to shift it more towards the less towards slaughter and more of unity. And I try to change it a bit, the beat of it to a more upbeat, less of a lullaby, more of an anthem. And as I'm going through this, and in my mind, I'll think to myself,
I'm surprised by how strong Father really is in all this. I'm not quite sure if I could call him an evil man for doing what he's doing, what he believes to be right, for I know that is the way of Fatash. Do not let any stand in your way. I believe and love my father, and I believe he loves us, those here at this table. He is a natural leader. And I had my doubts about him, about his worthiness to rule, on whether or not he knew what he was thinking. But now I have a better understanding. I know I can't live for as long as my father. But I'll have to grow up fast. I'll have to get strong faster. If my vision of changing these things between the hearts of even my fathers to ever come true, then I need to prove myself to all of them. And this frame, this man that I met, I can't help but to think that he's a gift, a messenger of the divine in some way. He's here just on time. And he fits my plan perfectly. He shares my vision. He'll be the start of something great, something that I can make with my own hands. He'll be the foundation of it. For my past to cleanse the ways that people think, to change. It was very unclear. I had no idea. I was fumbling over myself for some time, but it seems clearer now. And seeing Waheed get the
Sorry, technical issues. How about that? Okay.
and seeing that Waheed get the praise he deserves. And that wonderful gift. I have to admit it. It filled my heart with such joy that I almost forgot everything they're having to look out for. I know things may seem as bad as there's ever been. In a way, there will be repercussions for outlawing Pelgan, for banning the faith. I may even lose everything with Ludi. I'm not sure what will happen exactly, but my hope, my faith is restored in knowing that I have these companions at my side. Waheed is ever loyal, and I've only just met this frame, but I want to believe in him too, even though I know it's foolish. I want to believe, and I don't care if I'm wrong. I'll make it work somehow. I have a long, bloody road ahead of me, whether I like it or not. But I'll be sure to walk it with utmost care and walk it with faith and strength. It's amazing to me to know that my father still supports and believes in me even after I've shown weakness so many times. And for these reasons are why I won't give up on anyone here, why I don't believe in people having to die. But I'll want to speak with my friends and really, really talk to them about my plans. Maybe Waheed will listen this time. I'm not sure what's going through that big head of his. But I know it has to be bothering him too. This can't be easy for any of us. Compassion is the fastest way to someone's heart. Just to know that someone understands and cares about you. A lot of people will dismiss it as weakness and something that will just get me killed, but I know it has merit. And if I don't believe in myself or in my past for the way that I want to live it and that I want to walk it, then there's no one really else there to believe. I'll walk this path, and whoever walks it with me will be welcomed as a friend. And whatever divine may find me, be a Fatash or Pelgan, or whoever will accept me in the way that I want to do things. I just hope that I'll find someone and something to love me, to return what I'm dishing out.
My mind sort of drifts to vault a bit.
And I'll have to make sure to protect those who are caught in the middle of all this with everything that I have. And that is the way of a ruler, of a queen. Someone like that are the only types of people who are worthy to lead. I'll make sure that Father understands every single word that goes through my head. Every bit of faith that I have in his past. He loves me, and he'll come to see exactly what I'm saying. He has to. And all my friends too. I'll have to break them out of their shells and their prisons, their bars that they're hidden behind and shackled in, like Waheed. I can think of nothing more worthy in the entire world than something like this. Whether it be by word or by song, everyone will hear me. And that's a promise I'm going to have to make to myself. And forevermore will I strive to keep it. And let no one silence me. For if people like me are silenced, then the world will never change, it'll never get better. It's an awakening and an opening of eyes. I just hope that I don't get lost in this, that I don't become blind myself. I know it can be easy to do that. It can be easy to be overtaken by pride. Even someone as humble as Waheed has a lot of trouble letting go of it.
That'll be that.
And with that, last but definitely not least in importance or stature, we shall go to Waheed Drake and hear his thoughts on this night's events.
As Waheed is gazing at this spectacle, the decapitated head of High Guard laying on the ground as his lifeblood is spilled on the table, as the king is embracing Levy and everyone is cheering, Waheed can't help but think that his job just got a lot more complicated. No matter the king's views or his faith or what have you, this act of aggression against the Church of Pelgrim will not go unanswered, and there will be severe repercussions. And while Waheed finds it admirable that the king wishes for equality above all, the king's brazenness and lack of self-control in such matters has definitely not played in his favor this day. Waheed will most definitely expect more assassination attempts, not only on the king's life but also on the princess's life, the immediate royal family, their There may be riots in the streets, there may be revolts, and when word reaches Bale and other human-controlled cities, there will be repercussions. Waheed's timetable has just been accelerated. First, a letter he received from his father, and now the king. It seems he has mere seconds, it seems to Waheed, to make things right, to salvage what is left of this family and this city, and to save as many people as he can. He will have to tread carefully, and he will have to put many things in motion, for time is not on his side. And this maniacal zeal that the king has started to show is just unnerving. It is one thing to believe in something, it is another to give yourself over to it wholeheartedly in such a fanatical and zealous way as to kill innocent people, murder people of the faith for the actions of one man. This wanton slaughter and destruction is not Zacchaeus' way, and it troubles Waheed deeply. Who is next to the chopping block? If the Phraeans of Datazea, if they scorn the king or they make an off comment about him, are they going to be burning next? This is slowly devolving into the realm of a tyrannical dictator, a fanatical follower of Fatash. It seems the king has thrown all reason to the wind, the safety of his people. For there will be repercussions, there will be outpouring, there will be revolts. And as soon as this reaches Bale, other kings, other first generations of his line, they will retaliate. Pelgan has many children, many loyal children, who will see this city as a living, breathing blaspheme to their creator. And unless Waheed can set this right, more blood will be spilled, more lives will be lost in wanton destruction. But he must tread very carefully. He is no political spy. He is no master of deception and intrigue, but he must put all of his diplomacy and guile to the test if he is to grease the right wheels, whisper the right words into the right ears, and set things in motion. The king has already publicly declared that Levy is to be his successor. He will have to speak with the princess. She must be convinced. No matter what intent her father has, he's gone too far and must be deposed. Not killed, not imprisoned. Exile would be the best. To get him as far away from the city as possible. Maybe he would lessen the ire of those who seek to do them harm. But Waheed knows that as long as the king reigns in this city, only more death and destruction will follow. And the innocent people who caught in this crossfire of this holy war, innocent women and children, they don't need to see this. They don't need to experience this because of the hubris and pride of men above their station. It is not fair to them. And this destruction does no one any good. But time is short. Time is very short. A few more cycles. 20 odd cycles left, Waheed. Can you do it in time? Can you save this city? Can you save the princess? And when the time comes, can you make the right decision? Zacchaeus, help me. Can you?
Thank you all for joining King's Gambit Session 3. And I hope you will all be happy with the progression of the plot so far, because I know that we've all been enjoying ourselves, and I hope you all join us for session 4. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye bye.